Welcome back to College Football Playoff Top 25, presented by Verbo.
And every Tuesday night, the chair of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Boo Corrigan, joins us. Pleased to have him with us once again. So, Boo, some shake-up with the wins this week by Georgia, wins by Notre Dame, wins by LSU. I think one of the most compelling and interesting cases was TCU. When we talked last week, we talked about the committee wanting to see a balanced team from TCU. Frogs didn't really do a whole lot different, yet they moved ahead of Tennessee, who lost on the road at Georgia. Why was that?
Well, they've got 6 wins over teams that are 500 or better. They're averaging 43 points a game. And as you know, we value wins. And they continue to find a way to win and not give up those points in the second half. And it really was impactful to the committee.
As far as Tennessee, you had them ranked number 1 last week. Most people were in agreement with that. What was the assessment of the way they stacked up against Georgia in a game that really the Dogs dominated from the opening kickoff?
Well, you got an offense that's averaging 47 points a game. Georgia's given up a little bit more than 10 points to hold them to 13 points. I think that clearly separated Georgia in the eyes of the committee of how good they are and how well they played. Again, Tennessee's a really good team. Big wins over Alabama, big win over LSU. And again, we're still early in this process right now. But again, a lot of positives for all the teams that are in the top 5.
Oregon is at number 6, and I've brought it up several times to the point that the Duck fans are probably sick of me saying it. How does the committee evaluate that 46-point loss to Georgia on the opening weekend? How big of a weight is that on the discussion surrounding Oregon?
It certainly is part of what we talk about as we go through this, but the other part of it is they've won 8 consecutive games, averaging over 40 points a game, beating UCLA, who's well respected by the committee. And again, we're looking at the overall body of work where it's not about one game, it's about what have they done throughout the entire season.
How do you evaluate the level of opponent that Oregon has played since that game and how it impacts your evaluation?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at everything combined as we're looking at it. Strength of schedule is one of the components that we do look at. But again, how they play as a team, how they play together is really what we're looking at overall as we go through this process. Again, they've been very impressive.
LSU, after the win against Alabama, is up to number 7. They have the inside track to make it to the SEC championship game. How big a role does number of losses play when you guys are sorting out these teams? Because LSU, also like Oregon, playing its best ball of the season right now, but they have a couple of losses on their resume too.
Well, as you know, conference championships, head-to-head competition are all part of it. They've got that early season loss to Florida State, the other loss to LSU. They've come back strong since then. What an incredible game on Saturday night down at LSU that they were able to win, go for 2, and get that win. And as we look at it, we'll continue to evaluate.
You guys have set the stage for some really compelling discussion on Selection Day, depending on what happens between now and then. For this edition of the rankings, what was the most contentious, most difficult part of getting to the conclusion that you finally reached?
Well, I don't know that contention is the right word. As we're going through this and we're looking at, the top 5 and understanding where we are there, the amount of time we spend evaluating and having different people up on the board and making sure we're looking at everything, that we're considering everything. We're considering the different point of views. We're considering the games that we've watched and taking in the experts in the room is really what it's about, and then coming to this consensus and understanding that, I'm one of 13 that's speaking for the committee, but that we're all on the same page as we leave the room.
Boo, we appreciate your time, my friend. Thanks for answering the questions. Look forward to talking to you again next week.
Appreciate you, Rece.